welcome back to another video about a children's trading card game. If you have not seen my first video on this set review series, please do check that out. You'll be able to find it in the One Piece playlist or linked up there or something, or as the end card of this video. Find it, go watch that first. I'll explain a couple of things about how I'm doing this and what I will be talking about. With that being said, let's go ahead and jump right into it. We don't waste any time. We're going to be discussing green cards today. And let's jump right in with Ashura Doji. So this is a okay card. It's a Don 1 if your opponent has 2 more rested characters to get 2k power, so it becomes a 3/7. Obviously, very well statted cards, but how likely is your opponent to actually have those rested cards? You kind of have to make that happen. It's a little bit of a, it's a little bit iffy. Sometimes definitely can, but also this is a card your opponent is going to see. They're going to know you have this. They're going to know they're going to be opening themselves up to it if they do that. So it's one of those cards where it's just like, it's very telegraphed, doesn't have rush or anything, does not get crazy advantages. So I don't think it's a bad card, but it's nothing nuts. Izo, 2k counter for green, and green suffers pretty much from having some of the worst 2k counters in the entire game. You are forced to play horrific cards. Izo is probably your best one. This is an on-play to rest up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 4 or less. This is a good effect. This is going to let you deal with pretty much every small blocker in the game. The only other relevant ones are Queen at 5 cost and, kids. Right, so, basically everything else this is dealing with. But it is a 2k counter, which you want to be keeping in your hand, you want to be using for that defensive potential. So when you use it, you really need to make sure you're using it wisely. A good card, this basically sees stable play in all green decks because it's a 2k counter, and we do not have many of them. Next, we've got Dogstorm. This is a 3-drop with a Don to one attacking, set one of your Dons to active. This card is really bad. really bad. Okiku, this is another card that is very powerful in green. This is a 3-drop 5k, a Don 1 on attacking, so it'll be attacking for 6 to rest one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 5 or less. So this is threatening a large amount of the format. This is going to let you potentially remove stuff with your hard removal tools, which we'll come to in a little bit. That let you remove rested stuff. It's also potentially removing blockers from threatening, though again it is going to be highly telegraphed because you need to play it the turn before, so your opponent's going to know it is coming. Very powerful card though, absolutely. Sees play in pretty much every green, everything that has access to green, pretty much you tend to see Okiku seeing some play. Otsuru, this card sucks. Kawamatsu, this card sucks. Conjuro, this card, it sucks. It's just not good. It's just not good. It's just not good. Killer. This card is really nice in decks like Law. It's a 1k counter, but it has Dom 1 on blocking if you control 3 more characters, draw 1 card. So, yes, okay, you need to commit a Dom to this, but it is going to be replacing itself in your hand. Very easy condition to meet with Law. And obviously, you're trying to spam out the board with Law. There's a cheap blocker. You love cheap blockers in Law, and it's giving you hot cards back in your hand. Very nice in that deck. Kinemon, kind of the heart and soul of the Odin deck, sees a lot of play in Odin and none anywhere else. A very powerful card, being able to just keep reactivating your really big dudes, like for example Ashura Doji or Okiku, which is really nice. But outside of the deck, it doesn't do anything outside of the specific Odin deck. Momonosuke, this card sees a lot of play because Law decks do often like to play a small Wano package because it has access to very cheap cards. If you're playing Okiku anyway, if you want to play potentially Yamato, well, okay, now I might as well play Momonosuke because it's going to let me add Wano type cards, and there's Wano type events I might want to play, and Momonosuke slots in very nicely there, and of course a very obvious staple of in any Odin deck. Komurasaki, this card is interesting. It's an on-play. You pay 3 to untap if your leader is Kazuki Odin, so you're kind of overpaying to untap, but potentially that can close out a game. Unlikely though, I don't like this card. It sees a little bit of play, but yeah, I'm not a fan. Shinobu, this is a vanilla. It is a vanilla. Shachi and we'll do it for Shachi and Penguin right now. These cards suck. They are unbelievably not worth your time. Yes, they're blockers. Yes, they can play each other out, but they are far too expensive. You would much rather play cheaper blockers than these. Do not waste your time. Jean Bart, this is a vanilla. It is fine. Denjiro, this is a 5-drop 7k. Don 1 when attacking. If your leader is Odin, you set 2 of your Don's cards active. This is potentially a decent top end in an Odin deck, but again, it's not doing anything crazy. Yes, it's swinging for 8k. Yes, it's large. Yes, it's untapping your Dons, potentially letting you do a lot more. Obviously, in Odin's already untapping Dons, so you can potentially do some very spicy big combo plays, but it's really kind of fine. The bigger reason you might use this is just to have Dons active on your opponent's turn, so you can actually use some of your defensive tools. Trafalgar D Water Law. Yes, I'm not even going to bother. This is one of the best cards in the game, and remains to be one of the best cards in the game going into set 2. Yeah, card's crazy. Cat Viper. This is a very powerful card. This is a 2-cost card with an on-play to rest your opponent's character with a cost of 3 or less. That is very relevant. That hits pretty much everything you see in like Zorro, pretty much every single chump blocker, right? Like well, every single chump blocker by definition. It's hitting a large amount of stuff, and of course, in lore, you can bounce it back to your hand with the greatest of ease to remove all your opponent's blockers very feasibly, very easily, and suddenly your opponent's screwed. They invested their defensive tools into those blockers. They don't have any active Dons. Suddenly they're dead. This is a really, really powerful card. Do not sleep on this card. Beppo, this is a 2k counter, and that's pretty much the only reason it sees any play at all. Useless Captain Mid, somehow in this game, not useless, not mid whatsoever. This is categorically, and I'm going to be making a video about the best cards in the set, but I'm going to tell you right now, here's number 1, this guy. This guy, number 1, best card in the game, completely meta-defining. Okay, when I tell you the top 2 decks in the format are where they are, you know, in my opinion, the set 1 meta, it's pretty solved, and this is prior to the Shank starter deck coming out. It's just green. It's just green decks that can play Kid, and everything else is just doing their best to kind of play around it. Decks which can compete are decks which can out-Kid. If you cannot out-Kid, you're fucked, alright? This card is completely game-warping, completely meta-defining, completely insane. Best card in the game. Riso. This is a really nice little spicy card you see in lore sometimes. You obviously see it in Odin as well. When attacking, if you have 2 or more rested characters, you draw a card, so obviously you need to be doing several attacks, but this is potentially refilling your hand. Potentially really, really nice, and obviously if you're resting this card, if you're bouncing back to your hand with Law's effect, you're not worried about losing them. So yeah, this is a really nice card in Law potentially. Why this card sucks? X-Ray. This card sees a little bit of niche play. It is a supernova, so a lot of decks can actually just top check, add it to their hand, so they have it when they need to, thanks to Jewelry Bonnie. And this is really good because it's on play, KO one of your opponent's rested characters at the cost of 4 or less. So this is pretty much the only removal that green has access to. But you'll notice Okiku makes it live, or it's, the other Izo makes it live, which is very nice. And yeah, this is absolutely one of your best tools. And of course, if your opponent just attacked with it, that is something else that's going to let you remove those cards. This is a really, really valuable card. It potentially swings games when you actually get it off. Super, super good. You Can Be My Samurai. This card, we went from everyone thinking it was absolutely crazy, stupid, broken to, oh, it's fine, it's fair. Because, you know, you're getting a +1, but you have actually resting 2 of your characters is kind of a big deal, actually. And leaving yourself that vulnerable, that open to just getting your board cleared is not great. So, yeah, this is a card that's actually deceptively bad. Like, it reads like it's crazy, it's actually kind of bad. And if your opponent's playing it, you can probably bet they haven't done that much testing. Demon Face. This is main to KO 2 of your opponent's rested characters at the cost of 5 or less. This is potentially very powerful. Usually isn't very powerful. Usually it's not actually that good. Sometimes he plays at 1 or 2, but I think generally not worth the space. Paradise Waterfall. This is a counter that sees the most play in green because it's going to be untapping one of your characters. So if you have a card you really do not want your opponent to kill through attacks, this is what is going to do it for you. If you want to get more use out of your blockers, right? If you block something, if you have a 6k blocker, for example, Law, that's reducing the number of cards in your hand that you need to guard it with, right? So you could, for example, block with Law and then put Paradise Waterfall onto that Law. Suddenly Law is 8k. Most stuff probably isn't swinging for 8k. And then you can untap the Law to block with it again. Simple combo, very, very powerful. This is one of the best counters in the game for reasons like that. It's really, really nice. Coming down to the last couple cards here, we've got Punk Gibson. This is your 2-cost counter event, 4k, and then rest of your opponent's characters that cost 4 or less. This is potentially very powerful, does see some play now and then. It's a very interesting card. I would say try it out yourself, see if you like it. Lots of lists play it, lots of lists don't. Beben. This card is pretty bad, honestly. It's cost 3, and then you have to neg one of your one cards from your hand to untap. Like, I mean, bro, it's not good. Finally, Yamato, the secret rare of the set. This card is really deceptive. If you get it off, yes, it is absolutely nuts, right? Dealing 2 damage that's instantly banished is incredibly powerful. If you actually get an attack in with Yamato, that probably swings the game. But realistically, your opponent's going to block it. Your opponent's going to save cards in hand to counter the attack. It's probably not going to happen. But it has a 1k counter. So why not throw it in? Worst case, you just use it to counter. It's fine. This card is nice. Sees some play for sure. It's nothing crazy. I would not recommend building around it because you're just going to find yourself really disappointed. But it is a powerful card nonetheless. And that is it for my review of all the green cards in OP01. Let me know if you found this video useful. Leave me a comment in the comment section down below. If you think I over or underrated some cards as well, if did I miss something, please let me know that as well. Please subscribe to the channel for more One Piece content, including reviews of all the blue and all the purple cards for set 1, tier lists, deck profiles, all that sort of really exciting stuff coming up in the near future. So please do subscribe and hit the bell for that and like the video if you are excited for it. Also, if you're interested in Gate Ruler, Battle Spirits, and Lorcana, I make videos on all of those as well. So please do subscribe for that. And join my Discord server at the link below to talk about all things TCGs. That is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please, please hang around. I'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers.